I think it affects just like the crowd, getting them involved. Without them, they don't know when to cheer half the time.
I think it affects the game because cheer just gives us even more energy than we bring to ourselves.
I think cheerleaders definitely impact our game. I think they bring energy to our fans.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the cheer team affects a lot of just football, men's basketball, volleyball, all of that. So I think it's just one of those teams and like aspects of sports.
It definitely affects it in a very positive way. Usually I'm like right next to the cheer squad most of the time, and feeding off their energy is super awesome.
I think that cheer affects women's basketball in particular just because we often get a little less of a fan base. So I think cheer really helps and motivates us to keep the energy. And
I'd say on the court, not as much, just because I'm super locked in. I wouldn't say it distracts us. Off the court, whenever we're on the bench, we participate in cheers. So I think it helps get us hyped too.
Yeah, I mean, I most definitely notice when the cheer team's there and when they're supporting us and have high energy.
Honestly, for me, I personally am pretty locked in and focused when I'm playing, so I don't pay too much attention to the crowd or the cheerleaders as much.
1000%. Whenever we run out and we're like, where's cheer? And like when football's playing away and we're like, oh, damn, like that sucks. Just because like, especially when I'm going back to serve, cheer is like kind of like, you got this one, like go kill it one. And it just like makes me like so happy and like.
Go, Red, go! Go, Red, go!
Yeah, I'd say it does feel a little weird when the cheer team doesn't travel, just because I feel like when you go to away games, the other team has their cheerleading team there and they're the ones supporting them. And we also just don't have a large crowd, especially at away games.
Definitely, especially if, for example, like if we're away and another team has their cheer squad and they're like kind of going against us, it affects us a lot because we don't have that support.
Yeah, I would say it helps us because at away games we don't have fans. And so having people to cheer us on whenever we're just getting torn down by the other opponents, I think it's nice.
Just depends on the type of player. Like for me, I feel like I thrive in like away settings. So like going against away fans and they talking crazy to you, or you know, you got the other team's cheerleaders cheering against you. So I kind of feed off of that. But there's some players I feel like it would definitely benefit them feeling more comfortable on the court, having people cheering for them.
When they're there, they're always, not only are they super positive, but they always make it really personal to a lot of players. So they uplift the whole team.
my favorite part about having cheerleaders at the games would be free throws. I always notice them doing like some sort of dance or like flip when we get an and one or whatever.
I think what's really important is that there's a lot of fans that are screaming and there's a lot of opposing rivalry like teams that are screaming, and also like opposing fans too that are just saying like a lot of mess. And so I think the positivity is just huge because like whenever we move sides, like cheer moves with us and it just kind of like brings like a completely different type of energy that helps us kind of refocus and kind of block out a lot of the outside noise. So like that's what's I think really special about cheer for sure.
Yeah, I think back to when cheerleaders impacted my specific team or my specific environment with basketball is back to when I was in my undergrad at Creighton University. And we were traveling to a March Madness and we were flying charter. The cheer team got to come with us and a few other like academic advisors, just management staff within the program. I just feel like it just elevates the environment that you have and it makes it more fun when you're traveling with the cheer team and just people with high energy in general. Like it just makes it seem like you're playing for a lot more than just yourself. You're playing for like an entire support system and just like people backing you in those games.
But I just remember, like, I'm pretty sure we didn't get the point for some reason and it wasn't the best call ever that the refs had. And the cheer squad was like, oh my God, what's happening? And was like freaking out. And they're like, that's not your point, that's our point. And was like freaking out and like defending us, and that was super funny and everybody was just cracking up laughing.
I think it's very important. I mean, there's just like an obvious shift in energy when there's less fans or when the fans aren't engaged in the game. Like I said, like you can see that with away games, like when we don't have cheerleaders and a fan section, like it's a lot harder to bring our own energy, and we played a lot better at home, and I think that's because of cheerleaders and engaging with the fan base. So.
Yeah, I feel like having the cheer team there just elevates like every aspect of what you're doing, or like when you're playing basketball. Because I think it's more than a game, like having the fans, having the cheer team, just having that like endless amount of support.
I think it just kind of like makes everything just like so much more exciting, because we see cheer at football games, and it's like natural for cheer to be at football games. Like they kind of go hand in hand, so we expect that at football games. But we want people to come to our games too, and when they see cheer there, it just kind of makes it a more real moment, more realized sport, and a more like important sport, I feel like, because it just feels like complete when cheer's there. So I think like that's what makes it like so important for sure.
At times, cheerleaders can be a distraction for some players, especially when they're on the bench or something. They may distract them from being focused on the game. But I think what they also bring is like energy for us. I think they really help us.
I don't think that there's any effect on our focus by cheerleaders during games, just because like we know that they're there to cheer us on, and there's no distraction off the court either. I think cheerleaders do a great job. I don't think that they need to do like more or less of anything. I think what the culture that we have here at CSU, just with how the cheerleaders interact with our team, I think it's good.
More of cheer for sure, just because there's like, you know, the small section of you, and it means the world, like no matter what. But I would love just more like of the dancing, more of like the tosses. Like I just want to see all of it, just because when the game is so tense, like we kind of like look over and we're just like wowed by what cheer's doing.
I think right now, like the cheer squad is doing an awesome job. Like I don't think there's ever a moment where we're like, what's cheer doing, or like what's going on. I think they really put everything that they can into the game and how much they can put into it. And I don't know, I love them. I love them. They're super awesome, so I don't think I would change anything.
I feel like they do a good job, you know, doing what they're there to do, which is, you know, cheer on the team and get the fans involved.